What's up, nerds and nerdettes and wee little nerdlings all? It's your buddy Johnny G for Two Gun Pixie presents Legendary Gaming. Another Midday Monologue Monday is upon us, my friends. How's it going? Hope you had a good weekend or week or... I don't know when you're watching this. I just hope things have been going well. Now, I do this every Monday. Every Monday I drop a Midday Monologue. I drop a video actually every day of the week here at Two Gun Pixie. Me and Tom have been rolling these out like conveyor belts. And here I am. I want to talk about something a little bit serious. I mean, I'm always serious when I'm not. But I do want to talk about something a little bit serious right now, and that's when a character, a player character in Dungeons and Dragons dies. It happens. Hey, it's a part of life, even make-believe fantasy life. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be the end, though sometimes it is. It will be, in some cases, perhaps one of the most tragic moments in a player's life. I've seen players deal with it very well, although sad. And there's been a couple of players I've encountered in my life that have literally had meltdowns over the death of a character. And I've read and seen some things online that border on horror stories, the way some individuals react when a favorite character dies. It's tough. It is. Not everyone has characters that last for, 10, 20 years. Getting to the point where they pretty much become NPCs. Hey, when it happens, it's great. It's a great feeling to know that, DM pulls out a character, an NPC who was someone that you played 10 years ago, and now he's an NPC in the game doing things and sending you on missions and stuff. That connection is really cool. But it ain't always going to happen. Now, you do have a few options. This isn't real life. Real life, it's over. As far as we all know. At least here in the physical mortal plane of the planet Earth it is, anyway. But we're not here for an esoteric conversation about real life and death. We're just having a casual one about Dungeons and Dragons. So there are a few options. I mean, the most obvious one is you stay dead. That's it. You had a good run. You experienced an interesting character. Now it's time to move on. Build yourself another character, new personality, and move on. Maybe it's a relative of the deceased character. It's between, you may think it's between you and everyone else. It's not. It's really between the players, the surviving players, and the DM, what they're going to do with your character and your character's shit and the gear and all that stuff. Maybe hold on to it for the next player, maybe bury it with you, maybe giving it to an orphanage or something, I don't know. Passing it on to the new character or just taking it all for themselves, whatever. But that's the option. Stay dead, make a new character. But this is a fantasy world filled with magic, and divine energies, gods that walk the mortal plane, wizards that alter reality. So yeah, death doesn't have to be permanent. Resurrections are possible. It's fantasy world. If you have a religious problem with this, I'm sorry. You should move on to another game. There's not much I can tell you. It's a fantasy world. It's not real. It's not trying to mock anything. But yes, in Dungeons and Dragons, if you have enough money, you know the right priests to the right gods, you have the right connections, you can get a character resurrected. It's expensive sometimes. The character is going to, lose a permanent point of constitution, and there's other side effects, but they'll be back. Okay. I've had players that have opted for that. I'll tell you the truth, though. I don't think I've had players actually. Now that I'm really thinking about it, I don't think that's happened since like more than a lifetime ago, like in my 20s. I think that's the last time anyone's actually attempted to full-on resurrect their character, or the group tries to resurrect the the other character. I honestly don't think that that's ever happened before. It only has ever happened with me before 3rd edition. Wow, that's an interesting thing I never thought about until just now. But yeah, that's not the only option. It's not. There are other things like reincarnation. Again, something else that hasn't come up in my gaming tables in like since my 20s, I don't think. Really, I don't think it only happened once or twice in one of my games. So much so, I don't even know what the newest rules on Resurrection are. I swear, digging into the back of my mind, I seem to recall either 1st edition. It must have been 1st edition. It must have been. Maybe Expert. It was random. It was just like, okay, a reincarnation, roll it. Oh, you're a blink dog. Oh, you're a brownie. Oh, you're a human. Oh, you're a Trent. Which is chaotically fun at times. It can be. And so I don't even know what the newest rules are because nobody in my group even cares to even think that way. I don't know why. But now let's move on to other options. Outside the box kind of thinking. Things that really come down to the Dungeon Master. Whoever your DM, GM is, you and that individual, you have some out-of-box options. One of the options is you don't die. Your Dungeon Master can use this as an opportunity to let your character's deity, or maybe a group of deities, higher spiritual beings, avatars, or something like that, use the character's death in the game to relay some sort of message, some warning, some omen, sending them back. Maybe it's a form of resurrection, or maybe there's no side effects whatsoever. That's totally up to the Dungeon Master. And this sets a sort of plot course for the remaining story. You can use it to set things up. I've done that before, and it's worked. The players have enjoyed it. Now, another option is Ghost. It's a viable option in Dungeons and Dragons, especially 3rd edition on. Right? It wasn't so much of a great option in 2nd edition, 1st edition, but yeah, once the 3rd edition came around and things like Ghost became a template, it became a viable option for a character. So there are some restrictions to it, but again, Dungeon Master fate. A Dungeon Master, can say, okay, you're not tied to a place like the alley where you die. Maybe you're tied to the character that's your brother in the game, or someone that's like a brother to you. Or maybe there's a necromancer in the party who ties your ghost to him or herself, and therefore you are venturing with the party. It's an interesting way of thinking. It takes the game in a different direction, takes the player in a different direction. Ultimately, I understand what it means to be connected to a character. But I also know what it means to know the thrill of trying something new. There's always been great number of options in Dungeons and Dragons. Obviously maybe not so many great options in 1st edition. Okay, it was a little bit limited in your classes and your multi-class and your dual class. But with 2nd edition and the kits, 3rd edition and the prestige classes, there are and beyond, right? With 4th and 5th, following suit. There are so many damn options in Dungeons and Dragons. Just backwards engineer a new character. See where you want them to be at level 6 or 7. And then backwards engineer how to start them off that way, on that path. I think that's a lot of fun. But ultimately, it's your character. It's up to you and your DM to figure out how you're going to handle it. But those are my thoughts on it and some of the ways that I and the group have handled death.